all of y'all? I am not hearing any answers. Good evening. Good, good. So I think we are in between your drinks. We won't take too much time. We will stick to the plan and the menu. So I have two gentlemen with me. Okay. One from the land of cotton, Rohan, cotton. Okay. He is from the land of wool because he is in the Nordic region. Right. एक गर्माहट है, दूसरी ठंडक है. तो इन दोनों के बीच में मैं बैठा हूँ और आपके बीच में बैठा हूँ. So what I'm trying to do here is we are talking about the avenues of green data center in the country. And prima facie, if you look at it, I am not going to talk too much into other things. Firstly, let me introduce um, Gaurav. Gaurav comes from the land of Nordic. Gaurav, you can introduce yourself briefly.
So hi, I am Gaurav, and I think I introduced myself in the last panel. So I work in Lefdal Mine Data Center, which is in the west coast of Norway, and we are a pretty big facility. Like we are biggest in Europe with 80 megawatt, and we got expansion very last week around 200 megawatt. So we very soon will be the biggest in the world. And the so being size is not the what we Lefdal we sell. We have pretty good customer base, and like we are very lean team. The thing which attract customer to us, we are very green, and like our pu is around 1.1, which we are targeting to get more lower. So that's why I think they put me in this panel, that you the person who's already green can paint others green. So I think this all will be the session about. Thank you, Ashish.
Yeah, I'll ask him, Rohan to introduce himself.
Yeah, hi, good evening, everyone. Myself is Rohan Sheth. I had the data center and co-location business in Yotta Data Services. We are the youngest data center operator service provider in India. We have been in this business for last 5 years, and apart from traditional co-location data center services, we have our own sovereign cloud, and we are the only, you can say, NVIDIA certified partners delivering our own GPU services in India.
So thank you, Rohan. So here, if you see, I am sitting in between one of the largest and one of the youngest. Now you see what will be my case. मतलब look at me as a person. एक बहुत बड़ा है और एक बहुत young है. तो you know what will happen. But nonetheless, talking about the land of cotton and land of wool, uh, sustainability is the key for any data center, right? Why? Because all of us know that the energy efficiencies which we'll use for cooling is always going to be there for some time till the time we have other technologies coming in. We still have to have Peltier, which is another source of improvement on the green side. So what I would ask first, Gaurav, is more on the variation, the climatic variations. He has a different climate, and obviously, being in Navi Mumbai, Yotta has a different climate. So, what are the issues which you see, and which are the conducive regions which you see could be a more potential? Something, can we build Nordic in India? I'm sorry, I know, but what is it that you can do?
No, that's perfectly fine. Like, see, India is actually not country. India is the combination of multiple country. If you go up in the Ladakh, I'm a geek traveler. Traveled almost all the states. So if you go to top up, JNK and Leh Ladakh, you are having Switzerland there. Okay. Then you come down to the Western Ghats. If you go to this Karnataka, and there you have this Scotland of India. So you have multiple places there. And if you go Rajasthan, 50 degrees. So I tell people that India is a country where minus 60 to 50 degrees is very normal thing. So what we have to think about when we are talking about making things green, we have to look about all the factors. Okay, things are reverse in both the continents. We have to close the hot aisle in the cold in the hot continents like APAC. You have to close the cold aisle because whatever you have, you don't need to store it. So yes, India has to first diversify the place. Second thing about the climate, another factor which actually changes the factor is the location and the reusability of the place. People ask why Lefdal mine, is it a like Bitcoin mining or something? Why you are using mine? Because mine was already pre-prepared. Okay, we don't need to do any civil work. The moment you make any building, you take land, you make building, you are already spoiling the carbon, right? You are already making lot of stuff. Why don't you use? There are a lot of places in India which are abandoned by government, by certain region, population cannot be there, but data can be there, right? Data don't need anything, they don't need a lot of things, but human cannot be everywhere. So first thing, Indian industry, what they have to look for the locations. Okay, it should be bit reachable, and must thing which they have to look for is the reusability of stuff. If you need to make all of the building, every real estate owner is building, we don't have place for humans to live in India, right? If you go to multiple places of Mumbai, I think in one small apartment, I think 6 or 10 people are living. I have around a small 2 BHK apartment, and only 3 people are allowed to live there. Okay, me and my family. So we don't have places to live. So India has to look all the data center, whether it's all the youngest or biggest one, they all have to look about the places where you can save the civil work or other stuff, or if you can use the nature, the place where it is already hot, you can release the air, right? You don't need to store it or make it cool. So these are the factor which I consider from the climate point of view. You have to respect the nature, you have to use the nature. The best, the thing which only Norway ever did is they never tampered the nature. They always respected the mother nature, and that's why they are blessed. They are very blessed, they have very fresh air, 27 AQI and everything.
So if you look at your region, I'm just looking at a contracted region and asking Rohan on his views.
So, Gaurav made a very, interesting point, a good point, I would say. The problem right now, what India has in, exploring this, you can say remote regions or, the geographies that India has is the basic infrastructure. We were discussing, in the many panel discussions before us, that for a data center, the two lifelines are, power and fiber. Now, apart from say the major developed metros like Mumbai, Chennai, now you can consider Delhi NCR region and Bangalore, Hyderabad, these 4 5 major metro cities. This basic lifeline or the backbone of say stable power, the fiber connectivity, even in regions say 20 25 kilometers, once you leave even a city like Mumbai, the this basic lifeline is not there. We have been exploring over the last now 2 3 years, the edge data center concept has come up. Even if you go to a tier 2 tier 3 city like an Indore or a Jabalpur or Nagpur, these kind of cities, the stability, good quality power, it doesn't go off in the night, it doesn't go once in a week. The fiber, all telco operators are present over there. You get the telco diversity, that okay, a Tata or a BSNL or an MTNL, Geo, all guys are available. So for Indian data center industry, nobody likes, data center providers like us in Mumbai, the land prices are, sky high. People can't afford a residential apartment, leave aside a data center. And practically, technically, you don't want the data to be in a, such a high
Isolated zone.
priced, real estate market. But then if a cheaper land option is available to me, why would I build a data center in the middle of Mumbai? The basic reason is the power and the fiber infrastructure. If today in Ladakh or in a place in Kashmir or somewhere in say an Andaman or a Lakshadweep, if where the land is cheap, the climate is conducive, my cooling cost will be low. But if the power and the fiber infrastructure is available, then all these possibilities are there. That is where, right from the data center service providers to the government to the national grid operators, and everybody has to make that attempt, that if the basic backbone is created, which is the positive in say a European market or an American market, that the power quality or the fiber density that you have in a place like city like New York or a metro in say Sweden, you even if you go 50 100 200 kilometers remote in your country, you
So,
don't
so
find any
Rohan,
dilution in that.
Rohan, I want to ask you one question. See, looking at you being the one of the youngest data centers, do you have plans to, rebuild something like you said, getting into sustainability concepts, right? Any plans from your end in the next 3 years? what you could do?
So, as you said, one of the advantages that we have is, we are a new age data center, and sustainability now is, you can say, no longer an option. Even your customers, your bankers, everybody there, whoever is consuming your data, at the end of the day, sustainability is a, must,
It's a must
it's a
norm.
must
Norm.
norm. It's
Yeah.
kind of a norm that everybody requires. So right from your, your design, your construction methodologies, the way you design the whole building, the way construct the material, the building materials that you use in your construction, the way your operation methodologies are inside the building, everything is as per the, there is a UGBC certificate, lead certificate and all these things,
Correct.
where you get at a green building, platinum building, kind of
IGBC
IGBC norms and
certificate. Yeah.
everything. And all our data center, we have two operational data centers, one in Navi Mumbai,
Mumbai.
and the other one which is a platinum rated green
Yes.
building. The one in Greater Noida is again a platinum rated green building. So as I said, it is not just a responsibility or one thing that you do by choice. Your customers demanded, your the entire framework that is
Right.
now,
Right.
everything is done right
Right.
from the design stage to the operation stage. The green building concept and so on is followed.
So Gaurav talked about the PUE running to about 1.1. Obviously, I don't know whether we can really reach in this subcontinent, but how do you look for approaching those concepts of getting into the greener side? Because I know for sure that people are now concerned about the money which they need to pay, right? If the PUE is higher, that means they are paying, more than what is required to be done. So how do you feel, you look at that as a, I would say, conducive activity for customers also to benefit?
So in data center, say for a normal commercial building or a office building, the the way the building is designed and constructed, it's a major component of your power saving you can achieve by
That's right,
that.
right.
But in data center, because of the load and the power that is actually consumed by the racks, the IT load which is there, your overall design building, the building design and the construction of it is the the outside load is very low. The major load is at the end of the day, however green your building
Yes,
is at the end of the day is the IT load which is actually consumed by
absolutely,
the servers that are running inside your data center.
absolutely, absolutely.
So at the end of the day, however much while you have to do and in the green building is important, I think the PUE part that you mentioned is has more to do with the cooling, the
Absolutely,
technology,
absolutely,
the way you do
absolutely.
it. And especially in a tropical, country like India,
Yes,
where what we are discussing, whether the climate is say more than the ambient temperature,
true.
which is to be maintained inside the server hall. Uh, there are two things. One is to reduce the PUE, the way the the chips are, the advancement that is going on in the technology at the IT side. Where the server hall temperatures earlier used to be the ideal range used to be around 21, 22 degrees.
Right.
Now customers are also realizing they are moving up to 26,
Almost
27
26,
degrees.
27
Yeah,
degrees
27
centigrade.
degrees. So
Right.
that is the way, one major way in which the energy is saved and your PUE comes down. And the other thing is, with the advancement of this AI and the rack densities coming up, the cooling technologies have gone for a drastic change,
So
from an
you
air
say, so
cooled.
you say from a data center perspective, one of the ways which we have looked at from a improvisation perspective is automation
Yeah, automation and
and
the cooling technology. We are, right
gradual
now,
monitoring.
yeah, monitoring and the, cooling technology means we have done, the liquid cooling, the direct liquid to chip cooling, all the, we have done, tried and tested. We are on the verge, next phase of GPU installation, because GPU racks consume up to, 100 to 120 kilowatt per
Kilowatt.
rack.
Yeah.
So one thing is your air cooled, solution cannot practically technically work for those racks. And the other thing is, with the liquid cooling and the DLC being implemented, your PUE does come down. It
Correct,
comes
correct.
down in the range of around 1.2 to 1.25.
1.5. Yeah. So, passing on this question to Gaurav. See, Gaurav, you are into a region where you have the advantage of cooling, right? But from a green energy perspective, I know, for example, you being in Nordic region, we have European Energy Exchange, which talks about, reconciliation. So what are the types of green energies which you have been actually able to infuse into the system? And similarly, probably from your perspective, I think you can talk about it. So maybe I think first I'd like to hear your views.
So I will give 2 points here. First thing about green. So Norway is 99% green energy because they are only having this hydro and wind. Okay, 1% which they export in the peak winter when the everything is frozen. That is only, so we are already green. But while we are looking for green, another perspective which I recommend Indian DC industry has to look for the carbon neutrality. No, Lefdal is already carbon neutral. Our next target is carbon negative, and for that I will actually, and this is actually what question I will give to the Indian startups, because I won't put this burden to the DC providers. They are already overburdened. There is a new crush in the market, AI, which is actually making their life very bad. So and you know, and I think after 2 or 3 years you will just see all the crying faces because of that. So what I recommend here is that it is a challenge for the other companies, the GCs and the startup India, and I am very surprised that none of the startups every year thousands and I think millions of them are registering and nobody is thinking about that. And I will share a very beautiful story. So Norway is like a very nature loving country, and 5%, and Norway is a like third richest economy in Europe. Like they're very rich. Everybody is so rich there, and 5% richest economy is from salmon fish. If like who are non-vegetarian might know, so salmon is a very tricky fish. Okay, it only eats when there is a sun and when the temperature is 13 degree. Otherwise, it won't eat. It will be that small and it will die. And Norway has to produce that. So what they do is they have to put some kind of farming there, and they will put some sun lighting kind of stuff there, artificial, and they have to boil the water to make it 13 degree and make the salmon think that the sun is there, the temperature is 13 degree, let me eat and let me grow till 10-20 kg or somewhere the size. Yeah, exactly, till it's eaten. So what we are thinking is we are like having some amount of like hot water already there. So we have so what target Lefdal is targeting, that we will take this all hot water and we will give this to the nearby salmon farms. So they are around their consumption is somewhere around 10-20 megawatt they are consuming. If we save that 10-20 megawatt, it will reduce our BU. We will be carbon negative. So you have to come up with these thoughts, because see, data center industry is overburdened. Okay, startups has to come up with this idea. You look to the nature, you support the nature, you respect the thing, you look for the other industries how you can use the water. That's what I would like to say about this.
So I think Devara, in the next phase, probably, I won't be surprised if you keep some pond with salmons inside, putting a light on the top and telling them that this is how data center is being, utilizing its excessive heat to feed them, and they become, it's like Ramzan, when you see, when your Ramzan comes in, you have the goats being cooked to, for making it more eatable perspective. So maybe something from your side where probably these type of green energies, it's all depend upon, in the country we have a couple of 3 exchanges now. So either you could take it from the exchange, or you could take it from the grid, or you could have a bilateral agreement. So what is your percentage of the bilateral agreements which you say, especially for a green energy?
So, firstly, I would, really, like to appreciate the kind of, the activities that, Gaurav and his company are doing. And this was my also recent experience. We were exploring one of the sites in the EU region, and, as he mentioned, the kind of, example that Gaurav gave. Apart from India, I think we are still, as he mentioned, I think in one of the earlier discussions also, where data center is yet, to be included in the overall, you can say, the scheme of things. We are
Roadmap.
taken as a
Roadmap.
roadmap. And so all the activities that we plan, energy storage and green power building and, reusable energy and everything, data center is, taken in isolation. With the overall, you can say, manufacturing and the overall startup IT, this, we need to integrate it with the overall ecosystem, which is there, considering the country, where it is going. uh, as far as Yotta is concerned, we are you can say lucky, or we have worked in that direction, that we are, we have our own, license provider. We are power license,
Right.
both in our, Mumbai data center and in our, Greater Noida, then Delhi NCR data center campus. So we, purchase these green power, both in both the campuses directly from the exchange and from these, green power directly
Bilaterals.
bilateral agreements. And right now in our Mumbai data center, more than 90% of the, power that we, consume is green power. We purchase it directly
That's
from,
quite fine.
yeah,
That's quite fine.
hydro and solar, producers. And the similar case, more than 50% of our power in our, the Delhi NCR campus is, green. So in both our data centers, you can say on a combined average, more than 75% of our power is green power. And, that is our goal, that in the next 2 to 3 years, we receive, or we reach the 100% target.
So one last question, because I have a closure hand put up. Converting the problems into an opportunity. He has anyway said about the salmons. You have anything from your side which probably you could say that we had a problem and then I think we got into an opportunity.
No, so till now, I think,
Or
the
are you
way
exploring it right now?
we are exploring, or you can say the way we started, our Navi Mumbai data center, the first data center that we built itself is a retrofit. We are the
Yes, yes.
uptime, you can say the largest data center, tier 4 data center in Asia.
Yeah.
And that building itself is, 8 lakh square feet or 800,000 square feet existing commercial building, which we, as he said, rather than building something new, it was a
So
lying building. We converted into, refitted it as per the, made it a tier 4 data center. So that was a good start, you can say, from a
so I
sustainability,
would say
point of view.
this is one problem which you have converted into opportunity. If I were to conclude.
Yeah, it was a not a problem, you can say, but it was an opportunity in front of us. We made it into a data center, an uptime tier 4 data center, and today we have more than 1,000 customers, running out
Live,
from them.
live, yeah. I think I would like to thank both Gaurav as well as Rohan for their explicit and very, very focused about their regions, the issues which probably could be uh, further to discuss upon. But I'm sure, and I don't want to be between you and your drinks. So thank you very much to both of you all.
Thank you everyone.